Cool. So, guys, obviously, this is the first catch-up with yourselves this season. 6 games, 6 wins so far. How would you assess the start of the season?
Over to you.
How would we assess the start of the season? Well, it probably couldn't have gone any better without jinxing ourselves. Obviously, if we were being picky, but a few of the goals we've conceded were sloppy. We're disappointed in them, but overall, with the new players that have come in, really taken on board what we've asked and delivered ultimately.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 6 games, 6 wins, can't ask for more than that. Some big games in there, FA Cup, yesterday's win against Saltby. So, yeah, we're expecting to be picky, but we won't.
Yeah, as you said there about the new phases in the squad, I think it was a big turnaround in the summer. I think 8 or 9 players left the club over the summer. I think it's sort of similar number coming in. How would you assess the current squad and how in terms of the new players, how would you feel like they've settled in so far?
I think they've settled in really well. I think if we're being totally honest, we knew we'd spoken sort of towards the back end of last year, and we kind of said that if we wanted to win the league or to even get into the league above, we needed to change kind of some of the team. What do we mean by that? Not just because it was individuals, but we were very strong physically, but we didn't have a lot of pace. So Connor and I identified certain players throughout last season that we come up against them, and we sort of said, well, look, if we want to change things, we're going to have to bring in some new players. So unfortunately, we lost some players. I wouldn't say we were massively surprised that we lost some players because, listen, some have gone up, some have kind of gone sideways. It's choice. Listen, there's nothing we can do about that. You know, we try and do the best that we can for Dartford Football Club, and that's what we've done. But we kind of knew it. You know, the good thing about us is we can see our weaknesses. You know, we self-reflect a lot. So we knew what we missed last year. We've gone and signed it. It took us a bit of time. We kind of knew what we was going to do, but we kind of had to go through the processes. But they've hit the ground running. They really have hit the ground running. I think. I don't want to leave anyone out, but obviously Lean coming in as a centre forward has done really well. Milo coming in, she started off as a winger, probably is still a winger, isn't she really? But as a centre forward has done really well. Rochelle has come in, done fantastically well. Layla, winger. Mercedes came from Bromley. Absolutely knew what we were going to get with Mercedes, didn't we? So that was good.
Yeah, Harriet's come.
Harriet, Ashlyn, some of the younger girls that are in the group, and some of the older ones that were probably more established last year just took up the mantle. The likes of sort of Sailor, Abby Davis has done extremely well. Ellie Dolby has really hit the ground running this year. That's not naming others, but just those that come to kind of mind. So no, listen, the squad's coming along really well. I think we kind of know we might need 1 or 2 more, but listen, at the moment, you can only let the girls do what they've got to do and show that they're part of the squad. But to kind of win the league, which is what our aim's got to be, we're probably short of about 2 in the squad. Just in the squad. Everyone's a squad player, right? So, yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think obviously, like you said earlier, 6 wins from 6 so far. I think probably the most defining result out of those games was yesterday's 1-0 victory against Saltby United.
Yeah.
Result that should give us momentum as the season goes on. Just how important is it to get the ground? How important is it to hit the ground running early on and carry that momentum through the season?
Well, that's quite an easy one to answer because if you look at last season, the first game of the season we lost. So you're constantly playing catch up. And we were talking just before this interview in terms of we probably haven't had to face a top 3 opponent in the first 6 games of the season. Not saying Dorking wasn't a top 3 opponent, they're doing very well. But last year it was Fulham, Saltby, and we didn't face them early. So it's actually quite nice to get it out of the way. And yeah, hit the ground running. As you say, get momentum, actually win the game and not just settle for a draw. It was a feisty game, which we'd expected, but it's not easy winning this league. Yeah, definitely not. I think if you look at all the stats, it's a tough league.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think as well, looking back on yesterday's game, I think it was probably, especially my time being here, probably the highest attendance I've seen, especially for a home fixture.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere was fantastic. So how important can the supporters be for the team as the season goes on?
They're the most important people, without a shadow of a doubt. I think we say it. I think in football you can always say it. Lots of managers are supposed to go on record and sort of say the supporters are brilliant, and but here for Dartford Women, I think it's amazing. I sort of looked around during the game yesterday, and it really looked like it was the highest attended. It was nice for the girls, because obviously afterwards they had spotted that there were certain club members here and directors, and the chairman Steve Irvin was here, and it was great for them to see that in such a big game. And sometimes we know it because the girls tell us it, but the supporters are so important, because it's very hard to get yourself up sometimes if you go into a stadium and there's only a few people there. But if there is like 200 to 300 people at a game, it's unbelievable. And the noise at the end was kind of some of the loudest noise I've heard for a long time, sort of at our games, most kind of the Dartford games, etc., etc. So it was good. It was good to hear it. And I think from anyone that was a neutral at the game, I think I spoke to one of the opposition players' dads, a really nice gentleman, and he said it was a great advert for women's football. It's probably the best advert for women's football he'd seen in the couple of years that his daughter had been involved. And I think for us, we sort of said it was probably the best team performance we'd encountered in our time here, and that's taking nothing away from anyone else. It was just, we knew the magnitude of the game, and sometimes when the pressure is on that you can't afford to lose the game, we were saying beforehand, sometimes these big games, they kind of play out into a bit of an anticlimax, and sort of teams cancel each other out. And I think although that happened yesterday, I do think we were the braver team that sort of really went for it. And of course we are at home and we've got the majority of the support, but no, the supporters are immense. And even at training, like, people laugh when I talk about it, at training we kind of have lots of people come and watch us, and everyone's starting to see everybody now. After the game yesterday, I think the good thing is the girls sit with the supporters, don't they? And everyone has a drink together. And that's a great kind of to get a connection, togetherness, I suppose, is kind of what we would say it is. But yeah, no, they're brilliant. They're brilliant. They're the lifeblood, really.
Obviously, just looking ahead to Sunday, FA Cup, third round qualifying round against Queen's Park Rangers.
Yep.
The team in the league above.
Yep.
How excited are you to test yourselves against the team in the league above, and how seriously are we taking the FA Cup this season?
How seriously are we taking it? We take every single game seriously. We haven't got it in us to go out and lose a game, and that's something that we've really instilled in this squad. I think anyone that comes in, plays for Dartford, it's never say die attitude. Are you prepared to die on the pitch? Is what we said to them yesterday, and I think you'll see that in their performances all the time, regardless of their performance on the ball, technically, tactically, however. But emotionally, they're at it all the time. And regards to QPR, we'll give them the respect that they deserve, but we will do our homework on them like we've done on every team, and we'll put that into practice on Wednesday night. I'm sure that the players are up for it, because it is a good competition to play in. We've had some good runs in this tournament. Yes, you're not going to win it, but let's see where it takes you. You might get a dream draw in the next round, so that's what you're doing. We're at home, so we'll always fancy ourselves.
100%, mate. 100%.
Just finally, just over the last two seasons, you've managed 64 games for Dartford, with 53 wins coming in those games, which I think is a win percentage of around 83%. How does it sound to hear that, and how do you reflect on not being promoted over the past two seasons?
Blimey, didn't know that was a stat. I suppose it's double-edged sword. One, Connor and I have got massive belief in what we can do. We try and build squads, we try and build an ethos of how we want to play, etc., etc. But you have to win games of football. I know we win lots of games of football because we're brave and the mentality that we create at this football club. But I suppose the double-edged sword, and what I kind of said wasn't the negative in the positive, is that in two seasons you're probably right. I think we've lost twice each season and we haven't gone up. And I think it's sad really, because if you've got that win percentage in 2 seasons and we're still in the same league that we're in, it's I think it just probably highlights the fact that maybe the leagues need to be adapted a bit. I know it's something that we were speaking yesterday to kind of sort being about, and I know we spoke to a few clubs about it, that potentially, you know, these girls work so hard and then don't probably get the merits that they deserve. But yeah, I would listen. For me, I think the way that these ladies train, we train twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. They're in the gym most other nights. They deserve an opportunity for promotion. Now, whether that's for a playoff or whether that's through 2 teams going up, I think that should be something that's considered. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic stat. So cheers for that. But ultimately, you're judged on whether we get out of this league, and that's something that we judge ourselves on. Yeah, yes, it's really tough to take, but it's also something that we're proud of, I would say, because we want to win every game. We go out to win every game, and like the whole club are gutted when we do lose, because it's unexpected. Unless it's a team in a league above or 2 leagues above in a cup competition maybe. But we've come up against a team that went unbeaten last season. So rightfully so, they deserve to go up. But as Macca just said there, I think the league is changing. It might be one go up and another one in a playoff. I think they're looking at that system, but I think they need to play catch up a little bit quicker.
Yes,
because I think the calibre of players and the standard is going up too quick, and I don't know if the leagues are going as quick as that.
Well, it should be. Just adding to what Connor said there, we'll always talk about it. Listen, it's the girls that have won that amount of games. Every player that's put on a shirt for us, for Connor, for myself, for Dartford, they've contributed to that stat. So it's an absolute team performance, whether it's our staff, whether or not it's the people involved. So yeah, it's a wonderful stat. Hopefully it continues. Our aim this year is, you know, we want to beat probably the last 2 years, and I think if we do, then we've got a really good chance of going up. So listen, all we're just going to keep asking people doing is support us, support the girls. I know that they thoroughly need it, and they deserve it, and they play for the shirt, and that's exactly what we want. So yeah, but listen, great speaking to you, mate.
Yeah. Best of luck for Sunday, and as always,
thanks, guys. Cheers, mate. Thank you.